Hello, hello, good morning, good morning. I was gonna say it is a Friday, but it's not that Friday, Ted. I'll tell you why. It's Friday, March 20th, 2026. I'm Manila Chan. That's Ted Rall. You are tuned in to the Ted Manila Information Show, TMI Show for short, because we bring you too much information, and I hate that I have to bring this breaking news, Ted.
Mm.
Chuck Norris just died.
Oh, shit.
Chuck Norris, who found a second wave of fame with the interwebs,
Yes.
just passed away. He was rushed to the
I knew
hospital
that he
about
was
an
sick.
hour ago.
I knew he was sick.
I mean, granted, he's like 100. I know, like, we shouldn't, but it just seemed, he was in such good shape for being as old as he was.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm trying to look up. How old was he?
Like late 80s, I think, mid late
Uh-huh.
80s.
I don't like to hear that as a person who's 62
86.
years old.
86.
86 years old, born March 10th, 1940. I'm going to find this cartoon. I did a cartoon.
R.I.P. Chuck.
I did a cartoon that I hope I can find, and then you can put up, if I can find it, about Chuck Norris, of all people.
Oh. I just feel like he's been around in the media forever. It was
I found it. Yeah.
Like Larry King. Like he was there forever. Like nobody remembers a time of media before Larry King.
True.
Like, and Chuck Norris, like nobody remembers TV without Chuck Norris. Like that's, wow.
Invasion USA. Missing in Action. Did I see every Chuck Norris movie ever made? Did I see them in the theater? Yes and yes.
So, did you?
Oh, yeah. I was a huge fan. I mean, it's all schlock, but it's very American.
Yeah, but it's
entertaining.
Fun.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun. He was great. Didn't he also, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't he also do Walker?
Yes, Walker, Texas Ranger. We did an ad.
Actually, that show I remember fondly. I don't know if it was actually any good.
Was any of it really?
And does that
it's just
matter?
Good fun. No, it's just good fun. It was a different era of media. It was just good fun, corny karate, like kung fu, whatever. But he's an icon for being an icon.
So
Chuck Norris cartoon.
This cartoon is from 1995, and it was basically about how I noticed that you might want to take the frame away. Basically, how I noticed that everyone in the middle of the country looked like Chuck Norris, and I became convinced. You know how like there's those studies that show that like 3% of the entire global population is directly descended from Genghis Khan, right. And I was like, maybe 3% of all Midwesterners are directly descended from Chuck Norris, because he had this look that like you'd go to truck stops and be like, "There's Chuck Norris. There's Chuck Norris. There's Chuck Norris."
You're right. You're right. That's a good observation. That's, if you think about it, that's pretty true. There's a lot of people in the Midwest and in Texas that could be like the offspring of Chuck.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, look, if we have to have like a common person that we're all descended from, yeah, why not Chuck Norris, I say.
I mean, you know what? Good genes, right? Like he was fit and healthy. I mean, up until right now.
And he's not a fraud like Van Damme.
Is Van Damme a fraud?
Well, I mean, in terms of being a real good fighter.
Oh, like an actual martial artist?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think he was just like a hot bodybuilder, right? Like that was it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I think Chucky here was a legit like black belt or whatever he was.
Mm-hmm.
But what a sad. I mean, God bless, man. He had a nice long life, good long career, and he's like an American TV legend.
Was he married? Does he leave behind a grieving widow, like of half his age?
Probably.
One would think, but maybe not. He strikes me like he might be like salt of the earth,
like lone wolf status.
Yeah, Well, or just like married to like someone age appropriate.
Oh, I don't know. That's one thing I do like about the Chuck Norris legacy is there was never any drama from Chuck Norris. He just like did
No,
his
he just did his shit. That's it.
did his TV shows. There's no drama. He'd sell you some stuff on commercials. He had a second go at internet fame, and hawk you some stuff like vitamins, and that was it.
Yeah, yeah, like whatever, it's fine.
God bless. Well, 86. That was a nice long time. I don't know if our ad is still there, but we just eulogized Chuck Norris. We had a Chuck Norris ad. We did like one time. When we started,
we did
when we were qualified. Yeah, we were qualified for ads. One of the early advertisers was a Chuck Norris thing, like one of his vitamins or something like that. Do we have an ad to do, Robbie? Maybe his company carries on. Okay, Robbie's going to put it up. Maybe his company carries on. His whatever his online company is, I forget. We did it one time. We qualified for the Chuck Norris.
So he was married. He was married twice. First time from 1958 to 1989 to someone named Diane Holacek. He has 5 children total.
Wow.
Currently married to Gina O'Kelly.
Yeah. Is Gina an age appropriate lady?
I'm looking here.
Okay.
No, she's not.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, she's definitely younger, like a lot younger than he is.
Are we talking like Al Pacino status?
No,
Probably.
It's not that insane.
Not that bad.
No.
Well, that's pretty bad. Yeah. All right. We got to do this ad. Okay. All right. So they can cancel your accounts, freeze your cards, decide what you're allowed to buy, say, or support. Big banks and financial institutions have total control, and they use it. That's why financial independence matters more now than ever. So introducing Rumble Wallet, a wallet built for real freedom. With Rumble Wallet, you control your money, not a bank, not a government, not a tech company. Buy digital assets like Tether Gold, and Bitcoin all in one secure place. No permission, no middlemen, no cancel button. And when you want to support the creators that you actually believe in, you can use the Rumble Wallet app directly and tip those content creators securely, instantly, and without interference. This isn't a credit line that they can just shut off. It is your actual wallet permanently. Yours to protect your future, protect your family, and when the system fails, when institutions turn on their own people, financial sovereignty is the difference between security and vulnerability. Rumble Wallet ain't about politics. It's about freedom, ownership, and protecting what's yours. So take control today. Download Rumble Wallet now and step away from those big banks for good. True ownership, true protection, true financial freedom. All right, with that, please remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and share, because we do it every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Oh, and one more thing. Today, March 20th, 1854, today in history, the founding of the Republican Party, Ted. Former members of the Whig Party met in, is it Ripon, Wisconsin?
Ripon? Or spell?
Ripon?
No idea. Or Ripon.
I have no idea.
There's a lot of French names in Wisconsin, for obvious reasons.
Maybe it's that. But I'm going to go with Ripon, Wisconsin. To establish a new party committed to opposing the spread of slavery into America's Western territories. In case people forgot, it was the Democrats who wanted to, or whatever preceded the Democrats, who wanted to keep, that whole thing going. The disintegration of the Whigs following the dissolution of the Missouri Compromise created an opening for a new political faction to lead the anti-slavery movement, and the New Republicans quickly filled it. The GOP's first presidential candidate, Senator John Fremont, won 11 of the 16 northern states back in 1856.
Fremont, California is named after him.
That's right.
He was the Free Soil Party at one point, and
Free
he
soil. I don't even know.
and then he ran again in 1864 for a hot second. He's he's a wild and crazy dude. If you just go read his Wikipedia entry,
I
I
never
guarantee
looked into
you
him.
it's super entertaining.
I know that's who Fremont, California is named after. I just never looked into him. But it wasn't until it was good old honest Abe Lincoln became the Republican Party's first member to claim the White House just 4 years later after the founding of the party. So not too shabby. I mean, they stuck around. They're still here. You know, good or bad, there's the Republicans are still here. So there you are. That's today in history. 1850. What did I say? 1856? 54. 1854. All right. With that, let's hop to the news. I got some ultrasounding to do after the show.
You do? What do you mean? Oh God! Oh really? On
Yeah,
what
we're
part?
getting
On what
close, man.
What part? Oh.
I'm big and pregnant,
Actually,
Ted.
it's more like a. There's the
For
sound it makes.
ultrasounds?
Yeah, they make a sound.
I don't hear the ultrasound machine doing that.
Well, maybe they have new ones. I haven't seen one in use for a while. I don't know.
I don't remember ultrasounds doing that.
Maybe it was probably just creaky or something. I was very distracted because
us ladies get two different kinds.
This is a really bad thing to admit, but when my ex-wife was pregnant with our child, and we went for the ultrasound. So part of the story was it was definitely funny. I was like, she said, do you want to know if it's a boy or a girl? And I said, and we had already agreed that
the ultrasound technician.
Well, no, she was actually the lady,
the OB.
And I said, yeah, we'd like to know because we did want to know. And she said, it's a boy. And I said, are you sure? And she started laughing and she goes, oh, I'm sure. And I go, is it? You're saying that my fetus, my fetus is well hung?
My offspring?
And she said, he is. It's the biggest I've ever seen. And I was like, wow.
On a little baby, yeah. There's no.
And I was like, that's my boy. But the other problem.
You do know that your son one day might hear this, and he's going to be so embarrassed.
Hope so. Well, I mean, it could be the other way around. It could be like, I don't know, it's a micro penis.
I know.
But anyway, he. But the other problem was, she was the hottest doctor I've ever laid eyes upon. She was like stunning, and I used to like have dark fantasies about her. And it's just like, and I was like, you shouldn't be fantasizing about your wife's OB. It's just wrong.
Ted.
And it's like I was kind of like, if I still believed in the powers of Catholic confession, I would have confessed, because I really still look back at myself and ask myself, I've often asked myself, what the fuck is wrong with me? And this was one of those times.
Are you sure you didn't just have the hots because she was like sticking a wand up your wife? And
no, she was fucking hot, man. She was just.
She herself was.
Oh, she was like, no, I mean, still.
Like if you saw her on the street, you would rub her neck and look.
One time I dated a girl who was so hot that like she caused car accidents because people like lost control of their cars staring at her as they drove down the street. That's what this girl was like.
And as an OB, that's really rare with like doctor.
Yeah, no, doctors often can be cute. My podiatrist is super cute, but like not. but
this was like a smoking hot doctor.
Oh no! I mean, she's smoking hot by any standards. You know.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was just like, what the fuck? You know, why is she like? What are you doing here? Why do you look like that? I don't understand.
Look, real quick here on the screen. That's the World Happiness Index that came out yesterday.
Oh, I love these.
I thought you would. Most happiest place in the world, Ted.
Disneyland.
Finland.
Well,
Finland.
Manila,
7.8.
You and I both know that Scandinavia always ranks high on these indices, despite the fact. And you know what their secret is? Everyone who's depressed kills themselves. So only the happy ones are left. Because they have a
you
very
know,
high suicide rate there.
that is true. And the government will help you off yourselves. So,
True. Right.
so they
That's
want to
kind of
keep their
cheating.
title.
They're kind of cheating in the
They want,
happiness indices. Yeah.
They want to keep the title. The saddest place in Europe, Ukraine.
Well, yeah. I wonder, do you think they were there before the war?
They were always like that, though. They never ranked, not even in the middle. They were always among the lowest. But as we know, before the war, Ukraine was ranked year after year after year for like a straight decade by the New York Times as the most corrupt place in Europe. So,
Well, that's true. And Ukraine is barely European, really. I mean,
know
they keep talking about it like how European it is. I'm like, ish,
ish.
sort of.
Eastern, yeah, it's Eastern Bloc. Like, okay, fine. Surprisingly, like the Romanians, the Serbians, even the Albanians are happier than the Ukrainians.
Yeah, the
Wow.
Albania is rough.
The Albanians are happier.
Yeah.
They've got a 5.7. Ukraine got a 4.7.
Interesting to me that down there on the Iberian Peninsula, Portugal is more miserable than Spain. I've been to Portugal.
Tunisia's
It seemed
happier
fine
than
to
Ukraine.
me. Tunisia's got a good rep, actually.
Huh.
Israel are they grayed out?
Israel's the happiest in the Middle East.
Yeah, because they love killing people, and they're living their best lives by depriving everyone else of their best and worst lives.
That's true. Since 2024, they've been living their best lives.
Not surprising to me that Afghanistan is a pit of suck.
Yes, poor Afghans.
Or that Yemen
most
is
happy in Asia,
suck.
Taiwanese, but it's only a 6.7.
So Asians not sorry, Manila, but Asians generally not be so happy people.
That's true. It is. This is what we
have
in common with the Russians. It's the same with the Russians. The Russians got a 5.8, which is a 1.1 point higher than the Ukrainians. But let me tell you, as far as Russian standards go, so if the scale is 1, least happy, 8, most happy, for the Russians to get a 5.8, the scale is wrong for the Russians.
Explain.
Because no matter how awesome something is, the best you'll ever get is acceptable.
But
nothing's ever awesome. You can have the best fucking souffle of your life, and
it is not too bad today.
It is acceptable.
It is not problem.
You'll never get good. You'll never get this is awesome. You're never going to get an emphatic. So and luckily, me coming from an Asian family where it was like, why you get A? Why not A+?
Maybe I was an Asian family. That's what my dad was like. My dad was like, what's with this A- in gym? I'm like, but every other grade, Daddy, every other grade is an A+. Like,
so when
I didn't ask you about that.
Are like, it's okay. I was like, yes.
But
awesome.
Great. But I don't. Okay, I want to say though, I wonder what the results would be like, Manila, if you had if Russia were divided, because Russia's such a big country, right?
Yeah, it's so huge.
Like, what if it was like just Western Russia, or like Moscow and St. Petersburg versus you know what I'm saying? Like I would love to see. I feel like Russia it's by far the biggest country on the planet, 11 time zones. It's like it's almost unfair to lump it all in together, and not to mention
I don't know.
They have all those Asians out east who are dragging it all down. Not to mention
that's probably true.
Not to mention Siberia.
Siberians. The fucking Siberians are cold as fuck. So,
like they literally go to the outdoor market and
look,
Manila, they buy milk in a cube on a handle.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like that. Yeah.
No wonder my ancient ancestors fucking left Siberia. I have a small negligible percentage small percentage of Siberian and Mongolian. And I knew that based on family lore, but I saw the small percentage. In North America, Ted, surprisingly, the U.S. has a 6.8. Canada has a 6.7. The Mexicans have a 7.0.
That's a virtual tie between Canada and the U.S.
But the Mexicans
Costa
are
Rica is
asses.
kicking major ass. Costa Ricans rocking.
Oh, that's fucking great. Costa Rica's great. I
yeah,
love Costa Rica.
I
The
love
Mexicans
Mexico,
are kicking
though.
our ass. They're happy.
I would be happy if you told me like, oh, you have to live in Mexico the rest of your life. I'd be like, bring on the margaritas. It's fine.
I mean, I'd be okay with that. So
the people
are
great. The best thing about Mexico, it's the people. The people are fantastic. Love them. And I know Robbie always complains that we're being invaded. But if we have to be invaded, we couldn't be invaded. Not like France being invaded by the Germans. Like, we're being invaded by really nice people. So, like, okay,
Robbie wants to fight you on this.
That's BS. If Mexico's such a great place, then why are all those little fuckers trying to come here?
They're trying.
It's
like
what
they're
they're doing.
Christian missionaries, Robbie.
Ted, what they're doing is that
to bring their happiness to us. Their
listen,
joy.
Listen. Finland exports.
You haven't had a good churro or burrito. That's the thing.
I have a Taco Bell. That's all I need. Listen,
oh, God.
all I'm trying to say is
that's American bullshit bastardization.
No, hold on. Finland exports all of its unhappy people to the realm of death. The Mexicans send all their fuckers here. That's why their stuff is so high. They're stoned, they're drunk, and they export all of their deadbeat, wannabe, useless pieces of human trash here. Now, if I really know how I feel, I'll tell you. But that's my opinion.
If I love Mexico, you can get all kinds of over-the-counter meds. The food is fantastic. The weather is amazing. The weather is amazing. So long as, and look, if you kind of know your way around and you kind of get a sense of who the cartel folks are or whatever, you make and you stay out of their way.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
And nothing, like, they'll leave you alone. Like, you just don't mind your damn business.
Yeah,
and they will leave you alone.
Then why do they all want to come here?
They're spreading. I told you, Robbie. They feel sorry for us. They know that we don't have good
vast
food,
majority,
and they know that we're miserable and dour, and they want to. They're spreading. It's like why do Christian missionaries go to other shithole countries?
We go to save
bring
souls.
Christianity.
They come here to steal jobs and depress wages.
They're trying, and also Robbie.
They want to bring taco trucks.
Mexicans are far more religious people than Americans are.
That's true. They're far. I grew up in a Mexican Catholic community. Believe me, they're.
Yeah, mass church is on like Donkey Kong every fucking day in every village.
The gay thing, the trans thing.
They don't even have doors that close on most of the churches. There's no point because the community's in there every day.
Okay, so then explain this to me. How do they have a Jewish president?
That's a mystery to me.
That one, I don't know. It was weird. But
how did an Asian become
of Lopez Obrador?
Or how did Fujimori end up in Peru?
Right.
Well, that's because of immigration. I mean, there's a
Mexico.
ton of Japanese that immigrated to South America, Brazil,
I know.
Argentina. I mean, that's why. I mean, the dude's
Peruvian. A lot of Jews after World War II wound up in Argentina as well, well as a bunch of Nazis, ironically, and a lot of Jews wound up also in Mexico. I know some Mexican Jews. And a lot of Lebanese and other Arabs are also in Mexico.
No, I get what you're saying, but I'm just pushing back a little bit because if Mexico is...
how she became the president is just because...
Okay,
this is just her story.
Robbie, okay, let's move on. I think this is really bizarre to me. So Saudi Arabia, I've been to Saudi Arabia, is ranked high on the happiness index. And it blows. Saudi Arabia blows. I mean, I would rather...
They got a 6.8.
If you were like, you have to live in Saudi Arabia the rest of your life, or cut off 2 of your favorite fingers, I'd be like, bye index finger.
Okay, so the Saudis and the Emiratis are both 6.8. I don't believe this one. They're saying the Omanis got a 6.2. I don't believe that. The Omanis, to me, were so much happier in my experience.
Agreed. Oh yeah, Oman is a far more relaxed it's a nicer
chill. I
looking
love
place
Oman.
too.
I have a question for you, Ted. Looking
Beautiful.
at this,
Love Oman.
Kazakhstan has a
Yes.
pretty good rating. That's a place I would like to go. How happy were the people there when you were there? I realize it was a while ago.
Pretty happy. I mean, first of all, they certainly don't have overpopulation. They have a vast territory the size of the entire all the United States east of the Mississippi River, with a total population, if memory serves, of about 12 million. So
it's the Montana of Asia.
It's the Montana. It is. It looks a lot like Montana. There's a lot of wildlife. It's also, they have a great work-life balance where even if like you're a like hard-charging investment banker in the city, you're there 6 months out of the year, and then the other 6 months of the year you go and tend your sheep and your goats up in the mountains to keep in touch with your Kazakhnas. So that's cool. You can kind of get, and if you're a guy, you get to feast your eyes and maybe date and marry one of the hottest chicks in the world, because Kazakh women are stunning.
If I was single, and if I was able to make a living, Kazakhstan would be the one country on the entire planet that I would go to.
You have to check it out. It's so nice. I love Kazakhstan. Again, if you told me I could live there the rest of my life, I could totally do that. No muss, no fun. Not to mention, they're rolling in cash.
It's a bigger version of Montana. What's not to love?
They have more oil reserves than Saudi Arabia, but it's just nobody knows that.
Kazakhstan?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's why the Russians helped them put down the coup that the U.S. tried to do a couple of years ago. We tried to color a revolution.
Yep.
The Russians are not going to let the U.S. get in there. Not going to happen.
We have a couple IOUs to get to. We missed a couple of donations yesterday from Sir Bikes a Lot.
Oh, shit.
Yesterday's comment from Sir Bikes a Lot. These cancel culture Dems need to remove the names and statues from all the places named after him. Also, Governor Hot Wheels earned his name by removing the laws that got him in that wheelchair.
Yeah. Also, Peter just made a $2 donation too.
Yes.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Peter says, actually, Mexican immigration to the U.S. jumped up when NAFTA forced Mexico to allow subsidized American corn in. Drove a lot of small farmers out of business. That is a solid point. NAFTA fucked
that is true. We always forget about the negative effects of NAFTA on Mexico.
Yeah. NAFTA should be abolished.
But anyway, they're still happier than us. They are still happier than us. Brazil. Okay. So all the darker the green, the happier. I'm surprised. Well, look, my new favorite place in the world, Iceland, 7.5, Ted.
Is that lower?
And one of the cats yelled.
That's mine. Come here, Fernie.
Fernie echoes my sentiment. Iceland fucking rocks. 7.5.
She's a fantastic cat.
7.5 out of 8. I'm telling you, they'd be happy in Iceland.
I've been trying to teach her how to walk on a leash. And it's
good.
Don't be that person.
No, you got to be patient. No, it's good for them. They like it. They just don't know it.
On a leash? No.
Cats are retarded. I mean, they are.
Cats are not retarded. They're just different.
No, it's that they don't want to be controlled.
They're smarter than dogs. Exactly.
They don't want to be controlled. They don't like being controlled. They don't want to be on a leash. Okay.
You have to earn. You can't bully a cat. You have to earn and cajole a cat's respect. Robbie, you can appreciate that. A cat is more like you.
Yes, that is true. They don't want to be controlled, and they don't want to be told what to do.
So they're conservatives.
They are. Cats are right-wing conservatives for sure. Yeah.
They're a Robbie style Montana conservative.
Oh yeah, live free or die for sure.
Yeah. They're not like a Texas conservative.
If we just annexed Mexico, would that increase our happiness rating?
Yes.
I think yes, it would.
Yes.
Because then if there was no border between Mexico and the U.S., first of all, because Americans could go to Mexico easily. We could just drive down there, no border patrol. Well, it's not really the driving down. Driving down is easy. Getting back into the U.S. is hard. If we could eliminate that, it would be it would be a great vacation destination for most Americans.
Yeah, like when I lived in Yuma, Arizona, we got a lot of American snowbirds as well as Canadian snowbirds that would come down every winter, and they would just flood the town. And Yuma is a border town, right? It's like at the border, and anyway, it would be flooded with a lot of wealthy snowbirds, older, retiree snowbirds coming down every winter where it stays nice and warm and sunny Yuma, Arizona. And they would just flock further south if that border didn't exist. They would go 10 miles further south.
So here's a question, because y'all both been there. I know we have to go on. I'll go away after this, but serious question for once. What would it take to destroy the drug cartels? To destroy
Actually,
them?
I was honestly, Robbie, I think if we had a annexation or a merger between Mexico and the U.S., it would destroy the cartels. Don't you think, Manila? I mean, they would not be able to be. They would go away. They would move down to South. They would move to South or Central America. They would not be in Mexico
I would have
anymore.
to give that a lot more thought if the merger, because it was a long, arduous task for where I'm from, like the East LA side of Los Angeles. I grew up in the height of gang era, both Black gangs in South Central and Mexican gangs in East LA. And of course, I hung out with both sides. And never shall the two meet, right? But it took all these years later, I'm saying from the 90s to now, you can criticize gentrification all you want, but the drug trafficking, and I'm not saying it's all gone, and I'm not saying the gentrification is great. I'm not saying either of those things, but I'm saying gangs, both Black and Mexican, have really been driven down and away, and it's taken 25, nearly 30 years of the gang fight. But that's because I would say it's part and parcel with the gentrification of Southern California, where ostensibly you've driven out poor people.
But there's a big difference between a gang and a cartel. I mean, a cartel is basically a paramilitary organization.
I know. It's like the mob. Like, do you ever get the Italian mob out of Long Island?
Well, the Italian mob doesn't own New Jersey, whereas the Sinaloa cartel owns an entire province. I mean, they fight the Mexican military and win.
I know.
It's more like the mafia in Sicily, where it's almost a co-government.
Right. So, I'm just saying, if you're looking at a Mexican gang or the Bloods and Crips in Los Angeles, if it's taken this long just to thin them down to where they're at today at this level, imagine how long it would take to eradicate a whole cartel. So I don't know. I would need a lot of time.
It could be done, obviously. You would need, obviously you could go about it like a military operation, and you could kill them.
You might need to do something radical, like legal. If we annexed Mexico, if you legalized all fucking drugs, fucking fentanyl, everything, you did something.
That would screw them.
Libertarian radical. You take away their source of income, and then you allow big pharma like Bayer to capitalize on fentanyl and regulate it and say this is how much the dose you need to just get a good high.
And you would also, like the legalization of cannabis, you would hire the low-level cartel people into and offer them jobs. You guys are experienced. You guys can work in the legal drug trade.
Yeah.
So the answer is
you'd do something radical and decimate their source of income.
Or you have to go in with the military and bomb and kill all of them.
Right.
Well,
I don't think there's any way in between that a whole cartel would give up their money and their power.
Well, if you turn all of Mexico into San Francisco with a bunch of rotting humans walking around in a permanent drug stupor,
but that's not legalized. That's not all legalized. It's just.
Well, they go in there. I mean,
proliferated illegal drugs. That's
same difference. I mean, you're stuck with the same problem. I mean, you're going to have people just crapping and let's not turn Mexico into San Francisco. Between the two, I'd rather have the Mexicans and sink San Francisco to the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. Just saying.
You'll get your wish. You'll get your wish. You'll get your wish in terms of tectonic plates will solve that problem eventually.
Yeah, I got to think about that when it comes. They go too slow.
A nuclear bomb works better.
Topic. An interesting topic.
Works better.
Wait, so it's 10:39
No, then
and
you
we
ruin.
haven't.
Then we can't occupy the beautiful land.
Wait, it's 10:39 and we haven't done a single
Yeah,
story
we have to
yet.
go.
Okay, just checking. All
Bye,
right.
Robbie.
All right.
All right. Okay. So here's one of the things that I'm always into, like health and food, right? Like health food topics. So
Always.
that healthy protein bar, and I used to fall victim to this. I used to, when it became a thing in the late 90s, especially like when I was in college, you're just on the go. And Ted, you have a college kid. You remember what this is like. You're on the go and you're like, I'm just going to grab a fucking Tiger Milk bar or whatever. I need to eat something and got to go to the next class. So that healthy bar that you're grabbing is not telling you the whole truth.
Shocking.
Imagine that. Oh my God.
Shocking.
So a fast growing brand, I'm not too familiar with this brand, so I'm not going to glom all over them. But there's this brand of protein bars. I think they're called David Bar. They're now facing a class action lawsuit.
I know what those are.
You know them? I don't know what
Yeah,
those
yeah,
are.
yeah.
Class action
my ex-wife
lawsuit.
was into them.
Claiming its bars marketed at 150 calories and 2 grams of fat actually contain closer to 263 to 275 calories and 13.5 grams of fat. That's roughly 80% more calories and 400% more fat than advertised. The company says the labels are accurate, however. The lawsuit says they're not. And the entire fight comes down to one simple concept, and I'm going to defer to the whole Bill Clinton, I did not have sex with that woman, is how do you define sex? And in this case, how do you define a calorie, Ted?
It's a good question.
So in a lab, food is tested using something called the bomb calorimetry. Basically, you burn the food and measure how much heat it releases. Then that tells you the total energy inside it. But that is not how the human body works when we process calories. So the FDA typically relies on a different system called the Atwater method, which estimates how many calories your body can actually absorb after digestion. And so this is where this got all fucked up and messy. So some ingredients, like certain fibers or fat substitutes, are not fully digestible. So they might show up as a higher calorie in a lab, but lower calorie on the nutrition label because your body won't absorb them, right? It's junk. Your body will just get rid of it.
It'll pass right through. Sort of like a corn kernel when you see those in your poo.
That's right. It comes out same way it went down. So that appears to be the core issue here. The bar uses a fat substitute that the body only partially absorbs, meaning the label may reflect just the usable calories, while lab tests measure total energy. And the FDA rules, now you add in the FDA rules that allow for multiple methods of calculating calories, plus I can't believe this, Ted. The FDA allows up to a 20% margin of error on your label. And
fucking hilarious.
20%, 1/5. So whatever you're reading on that label, there's a 20% margin of error, plus or minus.
People who are struggling with their weight, they're going to hear us, and they're going to go out next. If those people who count calories are going to be like, well, I know it says
the macro people
that it's 2,000 calories, but it really might just be 1,600 because I heard
they're going to err on the lesser side.
Yeah.
Like, no, don't cheat. No, like that's kind of terrifying to if you are one of those people, you're falling somewhere within a 20% margin of error, plus or minus. The FDA can't tell you definitively. So
it's ish.
I guess the story here is that nutrition labels aren't necessarily lying, Ted, but they're not exact.
They're not really telling you the truth either.
They're not really telling you anything. So, eh, so look, I like every other American, I have a pantry full of processed foods, varying in degrees of ultra to just regular, semi-processed foods. So basically, if it comes with an FDA label that tells you the nutrition label, like those are foods I nibble on, but I don't eat, if that makes sense. The foods I eat are things that grew from the ground or mooed and walked around on hooves or like, and those things themselves don't have nutrition labels, Ted. When they're born, they're just born. Like,
Well, I
so
mean,
they don't have nutrition.
it is possible to determine how many calories they have, but
You
yeah,
can,
okay.
but my point is, they don't come with a nutrition label. I
No.
just
You have to look under
cook it.
under the cud. That's where it is.
Right. I just cook it. So that's, because people always wondered, I mean, ever since I was in high school or whatever, people would see me eat all the time. And I'm one of those people that nibbles and eats all day and grazes. I'm one of those grazers, but I also have like meals, but I graze all day. But that fits with my personal metabolism and how, like the DNA that I have, right? But the main thing is, like, especially at middle age, is that my eating habits are consistent with, yeah, you might see me nibbling on Doritos. I'm not sitting there eating the whole bag. That's not how I stay thin. I stay thin because I eat real food. That
Well,
the
and
FDA can't
also
tell me
more to
about.
the point, Manila, you also have a a metabolism that is not
Sure.
at war with you, right?
Yeah, but I've also learned what works for me, and that I know that eating processed stuff, that your body can't digest some of it. It's going to go into different
Yeah, it's
different
bad for
places in
you.
your body. And and look, especially the
But it's
12
hard to
plus years I've
avoid.
been
In
in
the United
DC,
States, it's very hard
it is hard to
to
avoid.
avoid processed
But
food.
now
Yeah.
there's more reason to avoid those fucking labels because you can't trust them. And I've lived here for over a decade now, and I've seen how these agencies work. If you worked in my line of work, to the audience out there, and lived here in DC and got a grasp of how these government agencies actually work, you too would be like, oh, hell no, would I trust any of these labels, any of these things that they're telling you about anything? And they're like, no, it's low fat. It's fine. It's
Right.
2 grams of
Right.
fat.
It's all
No.
good.
So that's what this lawsuit is, not just about protein bars to me. It goes broader in exposing the shit that we call the government agency that's there to guide us with the food pyramid, Ted. Because they're not captured, they're not exploited, they're not. So there you go. There you go, America.
All right.
20% margin of error.
One of the biggest partnerships in shipping is starting to crack, and it could reshape how your packages get delivered. Amazon and the Postal Service have worked together for years, with the USPS handling a lot of Amazon's last mile deliveries. In other words, the final step that gets the packages from a distribution center to your door, particularly in rural areas where private carriers like UPS don't always go. But that relationship is coming apart. After more than a year of negotiations, talks between Amazon and USPS collapsed a year ago. Instead of finalizing an agreement, the Postal Service shifted to an auction-style system where companies bid for access to its delivery network. That includes that last mile, which can account for more than half of all total shipping costs. Amazon submitted its bid. Basically, they never heard back. So now Amazon's preparing for a future.
They got ghosted?
They got ghosted. Sorry, Jeff. So by 2026, that's this year, the company is expected to reduce the volume of packages it sends through the Postal Service by as much as 2/3 after the current contract expires. That's a big deal because Amazon currently accounts for 15% of all post office package volume. In rural areas, that goes up to like as much as 30 to 40%.
Wow.
And the Postal Service is already in trouble. The Postal Service recently told Congress that it might run out of money by the end of this year unless
That's
something
crazy.
big happened. It is crazy. Literally, we have the first continuously operating Postal Service in the world here, right? I think
Yeah.
it's us and the Postal Mail of Great Britain. Underscoring how fragile its current model has become. Years of losses, operational costs, steady decline in OG mail, and also don't forget Congress has saddled the Postal Service with a $5 billion a year debt that they have to pay into the general fund. Amazon, meanwhile, is investing in its own logistics network. They're buying more planes, trucks, warehouses, and delivery routes so that they can get control over their own destiny, which makes a lot of sense. The Postal Service, on the other hand, is trying to operate more like a market-driven business, raising prices and opening access to its network through competitive bidding. Amazon, meanwhile, has built its model on efficiency and scale and doesn't want to pay higher rates if it could just do it all themselves and be in control of their own destiny. Amazon says they're still open to working with the Postal Service. The Postal Service says it's open to Amazon, but only under new terms. So can this feuding couple get back together? Nobody knows. But it's a turning point for the U.S. delivery system. And we really just don't know how it's going to impact the Postal Service, how it's going to impact Amazon. I mean, Amazon famously, under Jeff Bezos, when he was developed an under-promise, over-deliver model where they would say estimated shipping time, 3 to 4 days. Then if you got it in 1 or 2 days, you were happy. I mean, it's all psychological.
Oh, sure.
They could have said estimated shipping time 2 days. If you get it in 3 or 4 days, you're unhappy. So, but it's a good way to live your life, and it's a good way to run a business. And obviously, Amazon's a monster.
So the Postmaster General, David Steiner, says literally that USPS could run out of cash by October unless Congress intervenes. But it says
maybe take some money out of the war, jackasses.
Yeah, well, $200 billion more that we want to throw at this short-term war. Okay, so USPS has faced financial losses since 2007, including $9 billion just last fiscal year, and already $1.3 billion for this year. Ted, we're on March 20. $1.3 billion. How are you in the red for 2026? $1.3 billion. I don't understand how that.
Well, look, today is the first day of spring, Manila, and the celebration of Nowruz, the spring holiday, Persian spring holiday in Central Asia and Iran. And so that means we're roughly a little bit less than a quarter of the way through the year, right? Because winter begins on December 21st. So amortizing that out, you're looking at basically a shortfall of about $4 billion a year, which, you know, if Congress just left the post office off the hook for the $5 billion a year that the Postal Service pays Congress just for existing, problem solved. Not to mention, or just take 2.5 days off of the Iran war, tell the Iranians,
right,
no war from, let's say, 12 noon today until midnight Monday morning, and problem solved.
Just $1.3 billion in Q1 of
because
this new
that's
year.
a $2 billion a year war, the Iran war. That's not even counting other defense spending.
Well, then why is old Petey Hegseth there asking for $200 billion?
Well, because he's going to be going 100 days, and he needs that $2 billion a day. Oh, I guess 50 days. Sorry.
So they can't peel off 5 bills to.
Sorry, no, I was right the first time. 100 days.
You're lucky I can't fact check you on math, Ted.
No one can. We're in America.
But we've said it before and we'll say it again. Ted and I are supporters of the USPS. It is what modernized this country. It's not just for the legacy purposes, but for these rural places that Amazon doesn't deliver and will never deliver. And it's
a miracle. I mean, honestly.
Medicare drugs go through USPS.
It's
That's
a
how it gets
miracle. And
sent.
like, you can't have a
Like,
real country without a postal service. I mean, be
no.
serious.
You
I
can't,
mean,
right,
you're
you
just
can't
not a
be a
real
real,
country.
you just no. When I lived in Dubai, they didn't have, I mean, okay, I take it back. They had postal delivery, but you had to go to a, like in the old days, like in the
Like a
old West,
box.
you had to go to a post office to
Hmm.
pick up your mail,
There's still,
and they
by
just
the way,
bundle it and hand it to you.
20% of Americans, that's still the case.
Wow.
Hmm.
Well, that's what I had to do, almost 20 years ago when I lived in the UAE, because there was no mail service, like, at all. Like,
Hmm.
I think now they have like a postman will come to your, let's say, your gated community and put it in your boxes, but it's not like
Hmm.
door to door the way
Right.
we have
Yeah,
it.
I've seen those things in gated communities, like the
Yeah,
giant
so
street
yeah, a
mailbox.
community mailbox, yeah, and
Hmm.
it goes to your post number, right? And
Hmm.
I think that's what they have now in Dubai, at least.
And then also in New York,
Think-
I've seen these like this is not the postal service, but I'll see these giant like Amazon, like basically like in the housing projects and other big high-rise buildings, where they have these giant lockers where if
Mhm.
Amazon comes, they put your boxes in there. They don't bring it to your door. You have to go
Yeah,
down to your like lobby or out to the street in front of your building and get your box
and
out of this
and to be honest,
contraption.
I love my mailman. Shout out to my mailman Andre. Um, like that's just part of American life, and I think, um, just
Well,
as a
it
part of
should
a
be.
legacy thing. It's just part of a legacy thing
Hmm.
that I think that's something just to preserve, worth preserving, because it
Yeah,
does
I mean, it's
have a
also
good
like
service.
they're not hiring enough people. It's part of the reason why there's no jobs anymore. I mean, I remember the Robert
Mm,
Townsend movie, great movie, Hollywood Shuffle, highly recommended '80s movie,
I don't
and
know that one.
it's like the mother. It's basically about a black actor who goes to Hollywood and gets tired of the fact that they're always trying to cast him as like a rapist or criminal or mugger of
Mm.
some sort, drug dealer. And he's like, fuck it. And he goes back home. And his mom always says, there's always work at the post office. That's her tagline. And it's like, but there's not always work at the post office anymore. But there should be. There should
Yeah,
always be work at the post office.
yeah. The Rumble Room is saying, but all I get is junk in the mail and on
So order more
landline spam
packages.
calls. Well, it's not even that. It's that, before we used to get our bills and stuff, right? Like through the mail.
Hmm.
And now everything's moved digital because, the
Sure.
gas company would rather not send you the bill. It saves money.
Ted Rall's all about the paper billing.
Are you really? I mean, so I do that too. I'm part of the problem. I'd rather do everything digital, and I do everything auto pay, because if it's a bill, I'm gonna have to pay month in and month out,
I
electricity,
don't like auto pay because
water.
I'm self-employed and my cash flow is so uneven. Like I hate to have
Mm.
things start bouncing.
So, well, for me, I'll forget things like that. So I put mine on auto pay, and so I'm part of the problem that I opt out because I say I'm going green, right?
Mm.
Because it tells you go green, opt out of paper delivery, paper mail delivery, go green, pay your bill online.
Hmm.
And that especially started in California with California Edison. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go green. I don't need paper mail. It's just junk. I don't
Hmm.
want to kill trees. I'm going to pay online when that
Hmm.
first became available.
Hmm.
But the downstream effects now, as we see, it's also hurting the USPS that does bring valuable services to us. Like I said, especially for older people, especially like the Medicare, Medicaid patients, things come to you in the mail. There are packages that must be delivered only by USPS because it's a federal agency. There's stuff from the courts or, whatever. Like, but that's where it's been reduced to.
Manila,
So,
a little bit of breaking news, and we do have to. I have a hard out coming up in a few minutes, but let me tell you about this breaking news. Um, Officials are currently saying that the United States intends to deploy thousands of additional troops to the Middle East. Details, here we go. Three more
they
warships.
shipped out of San Diego, I saw.
Three more warships. This is now breaking from the Associated Press. Yeah. So And also, the Trump administration has sued Harvard University, accusing it of
Yeah.
anti-Semitism.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Gay. Very gay.
No, Harvard doesn't like Asians. They like Jews.
It's very gay. Anyway, all right.
Anyway, that's it. All right, let's move along. Okay, not a lot to comment about this one. Just today's the first day of spring, so this story, experts are warning that the U.S. is heading into a more severe and earlier bug season. And the reason comes down to weather patterns, as we've all just experienced. Like I said, yesterday or the day before, it was like 25 degrees here. And 2 days before that, it was like 80 degrees here. So that's what they're saying. The weather patterns this past winter have been fucking weird. And the past winter brought extreme cold in some places, heavy snowfall. And that snow acted like a blanket, insulating the ground and allowing more pests to survive instead of dying off.
Mm-hmm.
So now, instead of a reset, they're getting a head start. The results, pests are expected to emerge earlier and in higher numbers across the country. And it's not just one type, it's everything, Ted. Everything, the scientists say, every bug. In the mid-Atlantic, where I am, and Ted, in the Northeast, where you are, termites, stink bugs, beetles, expected to show up very early, followed by increases in ticks and other stinging insects.
My favorites.
Temperatures are going to rise. Down in the southeast, a warm and wet spring is setting the stage for early spikes in termites, mosquitoes, ants, cockroaches, and flies. So we're basically going to have a bug infestation, it sounds like, in the Midwest.
It's going to be begonia for sure.
Ugh, gross. In the Midwest, Great Lakes, heavier rains are expected to drive up flies, ticks, while ants and cockroaches move indoors looking for shelter. Out west, rising temperatures are creating ideal conditions for cockroaches, flies, scorpions, and spiders, many of which will head inside when it gets too damn hot. It's too damn hot for scorpions. It's 107 today in Palm Springs.
Lovely.
Okay? Yes. So no matter where you are, basically I forget the agency that there's a bug agency.
I want to work I want to work for a bug agency. I want to know, I've always
National Bug Agency.
If this whole podcasting thing doesn't work out, I want to get a job like driving around in one of those like Orkin trucks with a big bug on the roof.
Yeah, this is the other NBA, Ted. National Bug Agency.
Oh, I'm all about it. Yeah.
They have issued a dire warning that says, get ready, climate change, Ted. That's why. How about that? Imagine that, Ted, climate change. And the immediate effect is we're going to be fucking bitten to death.
Well,
now,
it makes perfect sense. Of course it's, obviously. It is true that, like, look, insects can be a big thing in very cold climates. Mosquitoes are a huge problem in the Arctic. They're also a solution. But like when you go to like Upper Canada, you see them like rising like in vast clouds from the tundra in the spring. It's like crazy. When you travel up there, you need to have netting. Otherwise, you'd be miserable.
We're gonna have to be like Louse, sleeping in like a bug net over your bed.
Oh yeah, mosquito netting, gotta have it. But no, look, this is a major thing. Insects play an incredibly important role in the ecosystem, and that's going to cause all sorts of tipping points. These bugs are not just going to be annoying; they're going to kill a lot of animals and plants that we care about. It's a problem
that we might need to eat, Ted. So,
or used to build buildings or whatever.
Robbie, is it still there? Do we have to? No. Okay. It doesn't matter. We got to plow through this last.
Speaking of bugs, some good news, and it's coming on wings. The monarch butterfly population has made a 64% comeback, according to new data. Yay. That's a big jump in a year, with colonies in Mexico now covering 2.98 hectares of forest, up from about 1.79 last season.
So, Ted, are Mexican butterflies invading us?
Well, they're invading Mexico. So I gotta say, I don't know if you've ever been down there, but I have been when the monarch butterflies were down in Quintana Roo in Yucatan Peninsula, and I was driving around
No.
in like this was in the mid '90s. I don't know if it's still like that, but I was driving around in my rented non-air conditioned VW Beetle, and they were like literally blotting the sky. It was kind of gross because when you drove, it's like that, and it's like all the
no.
bug juices flying all over. I mean, it's
Oh, no. You
gnarly.
killed the monarchs?
Well, you gotta go, you gotta drive, and there are
Oh.
millions of them. They're crazy, and just think about these little dudes, like yay big, and they fly thousands of miles, right? Just
I
derping
know.
along, a little bit along.
They flutter over to North America.
It's
Like,
crazy.
or our
Anyway,
our part.
more butterflies made this trip and survived, and it's no small feat. Like I said, thousands of miles. So experts say that there's better weather conditions for them, more conservation efforts, like restoring milkweed habitats. I've seen that in the New York area. There's been a lot of effort toward that end, and protecting forests where they spend the winter. But there is a catch. At 64% increase, it's still well below where it needs to be. Scientists say that, it's good to go from 1.79 to 2.98 hectares, but the truth is it's supposed to be 15 acres, although I wish it had done this in hectares so we could have compared apples to apples. So I don't even know how many hectares are in an acre or vice versa, but
I don't know either.
Someone's got to figure that out. Anyway, it's a step in the right direction. It's not a full recovery. But anyway, monarchs not be dead yet. There was some concern about that. But So, yeah.
Well, that's a little bit of nice a way to end today's show with bugs. The yucky ones and then the pretty ones. And
yes.
I don't know what was going on at the National at the Smithsonian Natural History Museum, but the last time I was there, last April, the butterfly experience was closed.
No, the butterfly experience is awesome.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, it's like this small, like tented room area inside one of the Smithsonian museums. And it's just a walkthrough, and it's just full of all kinds of butterflies, and they land on you, and
it's
like
so cool.
Everyone's so happy. You walk through there, and you get like 30 seconds of sheer joy. That's all it is, right? It's like 30 seconds of sheer joy. But for me, Ted, I'm gonna embarrassingly admit this. I used to have this complete fear of moths. And
because of
it extended to butterflies.
Because of Mothra.
Maybe, I think so, but it's because they fly erratically and crazy, and then it extended. It extended, and they don't have any sphincters, and it extended into butterflies. So to get over my fear,
and they're
of these
hairy.
Fluttery. Yes,
moths are hairy. Yeah.
So to get over my fear of fluttery things, when I moved to DC, I would deliberately just go to the museum just to walk through the.
Oh, that's immersion therapy. I believe in
like,
that 100%.
I was like, oh.
So before I go,
cringing.
Manila, little housekeeping. Robbie has been animating my cartoons, and you can find them online on X, and they're great. So please go check them out. People, they're cute, and Robbie's been doing a great job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's doing a really great job with this tech stuff with your animated cartoons.
So just go to Ted Rall on X, and there they will be.
Ted's cartoons will be talking to you. Anyway, that's it for us. Have a great weekend, everybody. We all gotta go. Enjoy I don't know what the weather is everywhere, but it's fucked up. So.
And buggy.
Bye.
Bye.
Buggy. Happy first day of spring. Bye.
Bye, Manila.